Did Celine just commit the biggest fashion faux pas of 2025? The luxury fashion house found itself at the center of a social media firestorm this week after fans discovered that Chinese actors Su Kai and Songyun had been deliberately cropped out of official Fashion Week photographs, sparking outrage across Asia and forcing the brand into damage control mode. What started as a glamorous celebration of haute couture has now transformed into one of the most talked about controversies in the fashion industry, raising serious questions about how global luxury brands treat their Asian celebrity ambassadors, and whether this was an intentional snub or a catastrophic oversight that could cost Celine millions in the lucrative Chinese market. The discovery sent shockwaves through Weibo, Xiaohongshu, and Twitter when eagle-eyed fans noticed something wasn't right. Images from Celine's highly anticipated Fashion Week event began circulating on social media, but something was conspicuously missing from the official brand posts. Su Kai, known for his roles in popular dramas like Arsenal Military Academy and The Legends, and Songyun, beloved for her performances in Go-Go Squid and Under the Power, had both attended the prestigious event as invited guests, dressed impeccably in Celine's latest collections. However, when the luxury brand's official accounts posted their curated selection of event photos, both actors were nowhere to be seen. Their images had been systematically cropped out, edited away, or simply not included in any of the promotional materials that Celine shared with its millions of followers worldwide. The absence was glaring, especially considering that other celebrities and influencers who attended the same event were prominently featured across multiple posts, receiving the full spotlight treatment that comes with being associated with one of fashion's most prestigious houses. But here's where the story takes an even more disturbing turn that has left industry insiders questioning Celine's judgment. This wasn't just a case of selective photo editing or a simple mistake made by an overworked social media manager. Multiple sources and fan accounts quickly compiled evidence showing that Su Kai and Songyun had been present at the event, had walked the red carpet, had posed for official photographers, and had been photographed by numerous attendees and press outlets. Photos from independent photographers and fan accounts clearly showed both actors at the Celine Fashion Week event, looking stunning and fully engaged with the brand's presentation. The realization that Celine had actively chosen to exclude them from their official narrative, despite their physical presence and participation, felt like a calculated decision rather than an innocent oversight. Was this a deliberate slight against the Chinese stars? Were there behind-the-scenes politics at play? Had someone at Celine made a controversial call about who deserved to be associated with the brand's image? The questions multiplied as fast as the angry comments flooding social media platforms. The backlash was immediate, intense, and absolutely merciless. Within hours of fans noticing the cropped photos, hashtags related to the controversy began trending across multiple platforms. Chinese social media exploded with outrage as fans of both Su Kai and Songyun demanded answers from Celine. The comments sections of the brand's posts transformed into virtual battlegrounds, with thousands upon thousands of angry fans expressing their disappointment, frustration, and sense of betrayal. Many pointed out that Chinese consumers represent a massive portion of the luxury goods market, with some estimates suggesting that Chinese buyers account for nearly 35% of global luxury sales. The idea that a major luxury brand would disrespect prominent Chinese celebrities seemed not only culturally insensitive, but also financially nonsensical. How could Celine, a brand that relies heavily on the Asian market for revenue growth, make such a catastrophic miscalculation? The controversy rapidly escalated beyond just angry comments. Fans began organizing boycott campaigns, threatening to stop purchasing Celine products and urging others to do the same. Screenshots of Celine purchases being returned or destroyed began circulating on social media, with fans declaring they would no longer support a brand that showed such blatant disrespect to their favorite stars. The hashtag movements gained momentum, with some trending topics accumulating hundreds of millions of views within the first 24 hours. Entertainment news outlets across Asia picked up the story, transforming what might have been a contained social media controversy into a full-blown public relations nightmare for the French luxury house. Fashion bloggers, industry commentators, and even some celebrities weighed in on the situation, with many expressing shock that a brand as sophisticated as Celine could make such an obvious mistake in handling its relationship with the Asian entertainment industry. What made the situation even more explosive was the timing. The incident occurred during a period when discussions about Western brands' treatment of Asian celebrities and markets were already heightened. Previous controversies involving other luxury brands and their handling of Chinese cultural sensitivities had created an environment where consumers were already primed to notice and react to perceived slights. Celine's photo-cropping incident landed in this already volatile atmosphere like gasoline on a fire. Fans weren't just upset about this single incident. They saw it as part of a larger pattern of Western luxury brands taking Asian money while simultaneously failing to show proper respect to Asian celebrities, culture, and consumers. The emotional response wasn't just about two actors being cropped from photos. It represented deeper frustrations about representation, respect, and recognition in the global fashion industry. Industry analysts began weighing in on what this controversy could mean for Celine's business prospects in Asia. Some experts pointed out that brand loyalty in the luxury sector can be incredibly fragile, especially in markets like China where social media sentiment can make or break a company's reputation overnight. The speed at which negative sentiment spread, and the intensity of the emotional reactions, suggested that Celine was facing a genuine threat to its market position. Chinese consumers have demonstrated repeatedly that they are willing to abandon brands that they perceive as disrespectful or culturally insensitive, and the luxury market in China is competitive enough that there are always alternatives waiting to capture market share from brands that stumble. Was Celine about to learn this lesson the hard way? Adding fuel to the fire were comparisons with how other celebrities at the same event were treated. Fans conducted detailed analyses of Celine's social media posts, creating side-by-side comparisons that showed exactly how much coverage different attendees received. Some celebrities were featured in multiple posts, with full-body shots, close-ups, and even behind-the-scenes content. Others appeared in prominent positions in group photos or received individual posts highlighting their looks and presence at the event. Meanwhile, Seline and Songyun were completely absent from this narrative, despite having attended the same event, worn the same brand's clothes, and presumably been photographed by the same official photographers. The disparity in treatment was stark and undeniable, lending credence to fans' claims that this was a deliberate decision rather than a random occurrence. The question on everyone's mind became increasingly urgent as the controversy continued to gain momentum. Would Celine respond, and if so, how? For the first several hours after the controversy erupted, the brand remained silent. This silence only intensified the speculation and anger. Some observers suggested that Celine was hoping the controversy would blow over on its own, while others believed the brand's public relations team was frantically working on crafting an appropriate response. The longer the silence stretched on, the more the narrative turned against the luxury house. Fans interpreted the lack of response as further evidence of disrespect, suggesting that Celine didn't care enough about the concerns of Asian consumers to even acknowledge the problem. Behind the scenes, according to sources familiar with the situation, Celine's management was indeed in crisis mode. The brand's social media analytics would have been showing them in real time just how serious the situation had become. The metrics were alarming. Massive increases in negative sentiment, trending hashtags calling for boycotts, thousands of comments demanding accountability, and media coverage spreading the story to audiences far beyond the initial fan communities. This wasn't just a minor social media dust-up that could be ignored. It was a full-scale reputation crisis that threatened real business consequences. The question wasn't whether to respond anymore, but rather how to craft a response that could potentially salvage the situation without making things worse. When Celine's clarification finally came, it arrived in the form of a statement posted across the brand's official social media channels. The statement, carefully worded but clearly responding to the intense pressure from the controversy, attempted to address the concerns that had been raised by fans. According to the clarification, Celine explained that the photo selection and posting process had not been intended to slight or disrespect any of the event's attendees, including Seline and Songyun. The brand expressed regret that their photo curation choices had caused hurt feelings and emphasized that all guests at their Fashion Week events were valued and appreciated. However, the response raised as many questions as it answered. Many fans found the statement to be vague and unsatisfying, lacking specific details about how such a significant oversight could have occurred in the first place. The clarification didn't explain the decision-making process behind which photos were selected for posting and which weren't. It didn't address why two prominent Chinese celebrities were completely excluded, while others received extensive coverage. It didn't acknowledge the larger issues of representation and respect that the controversy had brought to the surface. For many of the angry fans who had been following the situation, the statement felt like a generic corporate apology designed to make the controversy go away rather than a genuine acknowledgement of wrongdoing and commitment to doing better. The use of the word clarification rather than apology in Celine's statement also became a point of contention. Language matters, especially in crisis communications, and the choice to frame the response as a clarification suggested that Celine believed there had been a misunderstanding, rather than an actual mistake or deliberate decision that warranted apologizing for. This subtle linguistic choice did not go unnoticed by the highly engaged fan communities tracking every development in the controversy. Many interpreted it as Celine trying to minimize the significance of what had happened, attempting to reframe the narrative from "Celine did something wrong" Two people misunderstood Celine's intentions.